All right, let's go out to the field and bring in our guy.
Jim Bowden.
World champion GM. He was at Coors Field, and it's thrilled to have him in.
Jim.
And bring him in.
Hey, Jim, not all the favorites came in on this night. What did you make of how this home run derby played out ultimately?
I mean, it was incredible what Pete Alonso did. He is so big and so strong, and he's got so much stamina. I can't even believe what the polar bear did. You know, he came in, he was locked in from the first pitch that he faced. He was listening to his New York rap music that he picked out when he was batting, and his head was just rocking. He felt it, and you know what? He was just bigger, stronger than everyone else. He was focused the entire time, and he blew everybody away. I mean, that's really what it was. And he guaranteed to the New York Mets fans that he was going to win this derby, and he did exactly what he said. He walked the walk, he talked the talk, he did the whole thing. It was really fun to see it. But I got to tell you, it was really fun that first round.
Yep.
I think one thing that I learned is the right-hand hitters have an advantage at Coors Field. It's not the left-hand hitters like a lot of people think. Number two, hitters with the hit tool did better than guys that had the better power tool. The hit tool played out better overall. And the other thing is, I think we need to keep watching this and maybe learn that the first round maybe shouldn't be so taxing, because it seems like a lot of the hitters get really tired after round one, and we don't get the same lust when you get to round two in the finals.
Yeah, you mentioned round one, and in round one, Shohei Ohtani eliminated by Juan Soto, and this was supposed to be sort of Shohei Ohtani's night. He was the betting favorite. This is a guy who doesn't take BP, and you saw with Pete Alonso, there's a skill to hitting batting practice home runs that's different than a skill of hitting live pitching in a major league game. What'd you make of Ohtani and what you saw there? And sort of talk to me about what the crowd was like with Ohtani, who was clearly the anointed new sort of mega superstar for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, you could feel the electricity here at Coors Field. He did take batting practice, and in fact, in batting practice, he hit one 500 feet out of here. He also was taking batting practice underneath as well. So he was well prepared, but when it started, he just couldn't get going. He got a really slow start. That had a big factor, and then his BP thrower couldn't get the ball up in the zone. There were a couple times during the home run derby where he kept saying, elevate it, get it up for me. And then when he had a chance to put Soto away, he had 20 seconds to put him away, and he just could hit that one home run. And then you had the swing off where Juan Soto connected on all three and was able to beat Ohtani there. But if Shohei got off to a better start, if he could have just hit that one homer with 20 seconds to go, who knows what would have happened if he could have gone on to the next round. But he didn't. He failed. Juan Soto ends up beating him. But the other big story in this one, you know, Jim and EK, let's talk about Trey Mancini.
Yep.
You know, you get diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer, and you fight that. You go through 6 months of chemotherapy. We just talked to Trey Mancini just before we got on the air here, and he felt so proud because he really felt like, even though he lost to Alonso, that he won for a lot of cancer patients, that he was the inspiration today for all of those people that have to go through that and to go through chemotherapy. He was out there saying, yeah, you can beat it, and you can get on with a normal life, and you can get on the biggest stage in the world afterwards. And so I think Trey Mancini was also a big winner, even though he didn't win the Derby.
Interesting. You know, obviously it was inspirational, and seeing that final with him against Alonso. Alonso's factor also, Dave Joust. We talked about this all night long, but how important is it? You touched on it, Jim, a little bit. How important is it in terms of who is pitching to these hitters?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I mean, one of the things that we weren't sure is what was going to happen when Alonso changed. His cousin threw him the last time when he won in 2019 at Progressive Field, but he really wanted to share the love, and he wanted to let David Joust, who's been a longtime baseball guy, he wanted him to get that opportunity, and boy, were they on the same page. I mean, that was really clear. I mean, David's thrown a lot of BP to him over the years, but he was able to put it exactly where he wanted it. And even when he got tired in that last round, Alonso was like, just lob it over the plate and I'll use my strength to hit it out, which he absolutely did. But that relationship was important, and that played a big factor in Alonso winning for sure.
Hey, look, Pete Alonso basically made twice as much money tonight as he will the entire 162-game season for the Mets. His salary is $650K. He earns $1 million for winning this thing, so good for him. Ultimately, if we're, looking at this thing and 5-10 years from now, I say to you, what's the moment you remember from that night at Coors Field when Pete Alonso went back-to-back? What's the moment that sort of stood out to you being there, which we may not have seen when watching on TV?
My moment was meeting Shohei Ohtani in the runway afterwards. That was my favorite moment. I mean, he is such a specimen. I had never met him before. So, unfortunately, that's the memory I'm going to take away. But, look, I mean, I think when you look at the final round, Pete Alonso stood up, was accounted for, and he told the world, I am a multi-champion in this home run derby. And I got to tell you, I'm sure the people in Vegas that are putting money on next year's home run derby, I think they're already putting it on Pete Alonso, and I might too.
Most home runs by a home run derby winner turned in by Pete Alonso on this night. He's CBS MLB insider Jim Bowden. Jim, we appreciate the insight.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.